What if I told you that for the price of a loaded Toyota Camry, you could park a genuine Porsche in your driveway? I'm not talking about some beat-up project car that'll sit in your garage for years. I'm talking about a real, running, driving Porsche that you can take to Cars and Coffee this weekend. Let's start at the bottom of our budget. $10,000 and $20,000. This is where you'll find what I call the working person's Porsche. The cars that let you experience Stuttgart engineering without taking out a second mortgage. The star of this price range is the 986 Boxster, built from 1997 to 2004. Right now, you can find decent examples with around 100,000 miles for as low as $8,000. The early 2.5-liter cars make 201 horsepower, which doesn't sound like much, but remember, this thing weighs less than 3,000 pounds. The later S models bump that up to 250 horses, and you can still find those under 15 grand if you're patient. Here's what makes the 986 special. It has the last hydraulic power steering rack Porsche ever put in a Boxster. When you turn the wheel, you feel everything. Every pebble, every groove in the pavement, every bit of grip from the front tires. Modern cars have lost this completely. The 986 also shares about 80% of its parts with the 996 generation 911, which means parts are everywhere and any decent mechanic can work on it. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the IMS bearing. This intermediate shaft bearing can fail, and when it does, your engine is toast. The internet will make you think every single one of these engines is a ticking time bomb. The reality is that less than 10% ever have this problem, and you can retrofit a stronger bearing for about $3,000, including labor. Get one that's already had this done, and you've got yourself a bulletproof mid-engine sports car. Other things to watch out for. The rear main seal likes to leak oil, the convertible top cables can snap, and the plastic rear window clouds up on early cars. Budget about $1,000 a year for maintenance if you're not doing your own work. That might sound like a lot, but compare it to what you'd spend on a new car payment. If you want something more practical, look at the 944 and 924S from the 80s and early 90s. These front-engine, rear transaxle cars have perfect 50-50 weight distribution and a real back seat. You can find clean examples between $10,000 and $15,000 all day long. The naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder isn't fast by modern standards, but the steering feel is telepathic and the car teaches you about momentum like nothing else. The big maintenance item on these is the timing belt and water pump every 45,000 miles or 5 years. Skip this and you'll bend valves when the belt snaps. A clutch job means pulling the whole transaxle, so budget $2,000 in labor alone when that time comes. But these cars are surprisingly reliable if you stay on top of the maintenance. The galvanized bodies resist rust better than almost anything from that era. Moving up to our second price bracket, $20,000 to $35,000. This is where things get really interesting. You're now in the territory of early Caymans, second-generation Boxsters, and even some 996 generation 911s. The 987 Boxster and Cayman from 2005 to 2008 represent a huge leap forward from the 986. The interior went from Fisher-Price to genuine luxury. The body got stiffer and power jumped to 240 horses in the base car and 280 in the S. You can find nice examples with 70,000 miles for around $22,000. These cars still have an IMS bearing, but Porsche redesigned it and failures are much less common. What you need to watch for instead is bore scoring on the 3.4-liter engines. This is when the cylinder walls get scratched up and the engine starts burning oil. Listen for a knocking sound on cold starts and always get a pre-purchase inspection that includes bore scope of the cylinders. But here's why the 987 generation matters. The Cayman. This was Porsche's first modern hardtop mid-engine car, and it's brilliant. Take everything great about the Boxster, add a fixed roof for 20% more structural rigidity, and throw in a hatchback that can actually carry your golf clubs. A 2007 Cayman S with a manual transmission is dollar for dollar one of the best driving experiences you can buy, period. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room that everyone wants, the 911. Specifically the 996 generation from 1999 to 2004. Yes, the one with the fried egg headlights that purists love to hate. Here's a secret, those purists are keeping prices low for the rest of us. You can find a decent 996 Carrera with a manual for $25,000. That's a rear-engine, 6-cylinder, 290 horsepower icon for the price of a new Honda Accord. The 996 gets a bad rap for a few reasons. First, those headlights. Second, the interior uses more plastic than previous 911s. Third, our old friend, the IMS bearing. But consider this, the 996 was a clean sheet design that brought the 911 into the modern era. It's faster, more comfortable, and more reliable than any air-cooled 911. The steering still talks to you, the flat 6 still makes that distinctive wail, and the way it squats down and launches out of corners is pure 911 magic. Early cars from 99 and 2000 actually have a dual-row IMS bearing that rarely fails. The scary ones are 2001 to 2004, with the single-row bearing. But again, we're talking about less than 10% failure rate, and the fix is preventative maintenance, not inevitable doom. Other issues include failing ignition coil packs and window regulators that like to break. Budget about $1,500 a year for maintenance. If you need 4 doors and all-wheel drive, don't overlook the first-generation Cayenne. I know, a Porsche SUV sounds like heresy. But these things are shockingly capable both on-road and off. The V8 models can tow 7,700 pounds and still attack a canyon road with genuine enthusiasm. High-mileage examples are all over Craigslist for $15,000. Fair warning, Cayenne running costs will make your eyes water. The plastic coolant pipes fail and flood your engine bay. The air suspension leaks. The transfer case needs servicing. One owner in Australia documented spending $15,000 on maintenance in 2 years. But if you can turn a wrench yourself, these are incredible bargains. Where else can you get a Porsche that'll haul your boat to the lake, then carve up the mountain road on the way home? Now we're getting into the $35,000 to $50,000 sweet spot. This is where you'll find cars that aren't just good values, they're genuinely special. Cars that in 10 years will be worth more than you paid today. The 997 generation 911 from 2005 to 2008 fixed everything people complained about with the 996. The headlights went back to round, the interior got a major upgrade, and the car just looked right again. Early Carrera models with higher miles are just sneaking under 50,000 now. These cars still have the IMS bearing in 2005, but by 2006, Porsche had pretty much solved the problem. The 997 drives like a greatest hits album of 911 development. It's got modern stability control and brakes that'll rip your face off. But the steering is still hydraulic and full of feel. The 3.6-liter makes 325 horsepower, and the S model's 3.8 bumps that to 355. Find one with the Sport Chrono package, and you get a literal sport button on the steering wheel that sharpens everything up. But here's my pick for the future classic you can still afford. The 987.2 generation Cayman and Boxster from 2009 to 2012. Porsche completely redesigned the engine for these cars. eliminating the IMS bearing entirely and switching to direct injection. Power went up, fuel economy improved, and reliability went through the roof. A 2010 Cayman S with 60,000 miles will run you about $35,000, and it's basically bulletproof. These cars represent peak analog Porsche before everything went turbocharged and electronic. You've got naturally aspirated throttle response, hydraulic steering, and a manual gearbox that clicks through the gates like a rifle bolt. The base cars are sweet, but the S models with 320 horsepower will keep up with much more expensive metal on a back road. Special mention goes to the Cayman R from 2011. Porsche only built 1,621 of these lightweight specials with aluminum doors, fixed back seats, and no radio unless you specifically ask for one. They're usually above our budget, but occasionally a higher mileage example pops up around 48,000. If you see one, buy it immediately. These are going to be $100,000 cars in a few years. The early 981 generation Boxster and Cayman from 2012 to 2016 just squeak into our price range. These cars switched to electric power steering, which upset the purists, but Porsche did a better job than most. You lose a tiny bit of feel, but gain a much more modern driving experience with better fuel economy. The base 2.7-liter cars can be found around 40,000 with reasonable miles. For something completely different, look at naturally aspirated Panamera models from 2010 to 2013. Everyone forgets Porsche made a four-door before the electric steering and turbo engines took over. These early cars have hydraulic steering racks and proper V8s that sound fantastic. They depreciated hard because everyone wanted the turbo, but for daily driving, the regular V8 is plenty quick and way cheaper to maintain. $35,000 gets you a sorted example. Let me give you some real-world running costs so you know what you're getting into. These aren't Honda Civics. A clutch job on any of these cars starts at $2,000 because you have to drop the transmission. Brake pads and rotors figure $800 to $1,200 every 25,000 miles if you drive spiritedly. Tires are expensive because they're wide and sticky. Budget $1,000 every 2 years minimum. Annual maintenance, including oil changes, filters, and inspections, will run you $1,200 to $1,800 at an independent shop. Double that at the dealer. The good news is that most of this stuff is predictable. Porsches don't really surprise you with random failures if you maintain them properly. They tell you what they need through oil analysis, computer codes, and good old-fashioned mechanical sympathy. Here's my pre-purchase inspection checklist for any Porsche in this price range. First, get a proper scan with Porsche-specific software. You want to see the over-rev counts, especially range 4 and above, which indicate the engine has been hammered. Second, bore scope the cylinders on any 3.4-liter 987 or 997. Third, compression and leak down test to verify engine health. Fourth, check all the option codes because certain packages like Sport Chrono or the X51 Power Kit add serious value. Fifth, verify service history with actual receipts, not just stamps in a book. Spend $400 to $600 on a proper inspection from a Porsche specialist. I've seen too many people skip this step to save a few bucks, then spend thousands fixing problems they could have avoided. The inspection will also give you negotiating ammunition if they find issues. The Porsche community is incredibly supportive of new owners. Forums like Renlist and Pelican Parts have 20 years of accumulated knowledge about every possible issue. Local PCA chapters organize drives, track days, and tech sessions where you can learn to work on your own car. Many regions have tool lending programs, so you don't need to buy that special cam timing tool you'll use once. When it comes to modifications, less is more. These cars were developed by some of the best engineers in the world. A good set of tires, fresh brake fluid, and maybe some better brake pads are all most people need. If your car didn't come with the sport exhaust, That's a worthwhile upgrade that can often be done with factory parts. Stay away from cut springs and cheap coilovers. They'll ruin the handling balance Porsche spent millions developing. So which one should you buy? If you want the purest driving experience and don't mind some compromise, get a 986 Boxster S or a well-sorted 944 S2. Your $20,000 will go far, and you'll learn what Porsche is really about. If you need a daily driver that can also thrill on weekends, the 987.2 Cayman S is impossible to beat. It's reliable, practical, and fast enough to embarrass much newer cars. For 911 dreamers, a late 996 or early 997 delivers the full experience without the six-figure price tag. Just budget for maintenance and get that pre-purchase inspection. And if you need to haul people and stuff, a first-generation Cayenne V8 is a Swiss Army knife that happens to have a Porsche badge. The most important thing is to actually buy one and drive it. These cars are meant to be used, not polished in a garage. Every single model I've mentioned today will teach you something about driving and put a smile on your face every time you fire it up. They're not perfect, they're not cheap to maintain, but they're real Porsches with real character. Don't wait for the perfect car or the perfect time. Find one that speaks to you, get it inspected, and join the club. Because life's too short to drive boring cars. At these prices, there's no excuse not to have a Porsche in your driveway.